Yeah, I mean, we were a real low rent operation. The first year, I didn't get paid anything. I coached two programs. The second year, by that time, I was picking kids up in the morning on campus in my VW minibus, and I cracked the block of my VW minibus. And I went into Carl Kerr's office, who was the athletic director, and said, Carl, you're not paying me, but I've been using my minibus to get your kids off campus to practice because you don't have anything they can drive, and they're mostly freshmen and they don't have their own cars. It's going to cost me $300 for a new block, and I don't have it. I'll cut you a check right now. And he pulled a checkbook out of the desk and he wrote me a check for $300. That's the only thing I got paid the second year. The one benefit I had was they gave me entry into the dining hall so I could eat for free, which was a huge deal. Andy had taken the crew a really long way the year before in the spring of 79. And so my job, I felt that next year, 79 and 80, was to make sure that they could handle the independence from a coach and make decisions on their own and stand up on their own 2 feet. And the amount of time that I had to coach made it easier to sort of present things. You know, it was, they were on their own a lot and it worked. They were a really, really talented group. I mean, there were two women in that boat that year, Lisa Bourget, and who rode on the national lightweight team, and Sue Proctor, who rode on our national heavyweight team. Debbie Davis, who stroked that boat, might have been the best pound for pound horsewoman I've ever coached. I mean, it was a group of all-stars. They were outstanding. My job was pretty easy.
In 1979, the first year we were there, the Trinity won the overall trophy. It was a good time. We unfortunately lost to Ithaca, who he had beaten like 2 weeks before at Lake Warmog. So we were determined not to lose to them anymore. We had an undefeated season in 79 and 80, and then in the Dad Bale, we only lost to Ithaca in 79. I know we women really wanted to row in the spring. Didn't really feel like a varsity sport. I mean, it was, but we rowed in the fall and we weren't part of the whole picture. So it wasn't till 79 we went. I don't know if they still do it, go in and out of training. It was just a big thing to be able to row in the spring.
I think it was great to be part of a team. I think rowing is such a great individual/team sport that what you do individually is so important, but then what the whole boat does is equally important. They asked me to come back, I think 7 years ago or so, to speak to the women. And one of the things I didn't say, the whole idea of the power 10, that when you have nothing left to give, that you have to give it a power 10. And so there's so many times in everything across my life that I've said, I guess I got to give it a power 10.
No, I hadn't rowed before. It's wonderful to be able to join a team and be part of a team. It really adds so much texture to your school life. And also, to professional life. I assume you've been on a team, but teaches you all sorts of life lessons, particularly in crews. You just have to learn how to, row through the pain, figure out how you're going to get to the finish.
Yeah, just being part of a team, really special. I mean, I have often, like when I left Trinity, I said the best part about Trinity was rowing, because we were the first women's crew.
I do have an old article that I found kind of interesting from Hartford Courant, dated November 3rd, 1973, and it covered the introduction of Title IX athletics based on, or Title IX women's-based athletics into a number of Connecticut colleges. And it was interesting to me to read it now, with hindsight. And I saw that most of the athletic directors of those colleges sound pretty supportive of both coeducation, which had just started a few years earlier, and of providing sports facilities for women. But some of them also clearly saw that giving classroom seats and gym lockers to women was taking something away from the men, by reducing the pool of potential male athletes and encroaching on the space of the ones who are already there. And there was this one director, I won't name the college, but he doubted whether women really even wanted the program. And I'll read you this quote because I thought it was kind of neat. He said, "I'm not sure how competitive women want to be. It's too early to read a trend. I am not sure they're interested in the commitment of a football player or a wrestler. And that's the end of the quote. And then it goes on to say he wouldn't put any money into the programs until he was sure that women wanted them. So I would say that question was quickly put to rest. There was a mad dash, I think, by women to join these programs.